Welcome to Learning to Prospect 101. Today we're going to learn about quartz. I'm going to show you multiple examples of amazing quartz and gold mixed together that I found prospecting and metal detecting. You're going to learn how to take this knowledge, what to look for with quartz, learn about secondary mineral inclusion, and how this knowledge can lead you to finding some awesome quartz and gold together. So let's jump right in. The first slide we're going to look at is just some scientific background, and you can read through it. I won't read it verbatim for you, but the most important thing to pay attention to on this slide is that gold bearing areas are not quartz dependent. You don't have to see a bunch of quartz to find gold. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to a new prospector, a new detectorist, who came and said, hey, I just found a bunch of quartz, a big blowout. I think it's worth checking out. I'm going to go spend the day there. And all right, go. It's one way you learn. But 99.9% of the time, there's just nothing there. Quartz is one of the most abundant elements on the face of the earth. It's just everywhere. Quartz is everywhere. And because it's everywhere, it's not scarce. And, you know, gold is way harder to find than quartz, and finding them mixed together is a whole other thing in and of itself. So let's jump right in and we'll look at some amazing video of gold and quartz together. I'm going to show you some really cool stuff, so let's get rocking. Here we go. This first piece we're looking at is just gold bearing quartz. There's no gold in this particular piece of quartz. This is typically what people see and they go, oh my gosh, I found some quartz, and off they go. This is what they're looking for right here. They're looking for that beautiful white quartz with gold in it. And this is a piece I found detecting. There wasn't anywhere near any kind of big quartz blowout. It was in a dry wash. So let's take a look at the next piece of quartz. This is quartz with some hematite in it, that beautiful black hematite. I recently made a video about Learn to Prospect 101 about hematite. This is another great example of it. Now here's a great example of criscola, iron pyrite, and pyrite all together in quartz. Now, this is some really cool stuff. I just happened to be riding my quad somewhere. I saw this vein sticking out. I went over to it just because of the beautiful criscola, dug a bunch of it out, took my time with the detector and the loop. I didn't detect any gold in it, but I did find gold in it with a loop and just using my eyes, just specking. It kind of just led the way. And what again attracted me to it was the criscola. This is a piece of gang rock or waste rock from a mine, Gangue, Gange, you know, the great English language. It's pronounced gang. And so look at the colorization in it. Now here's another one. And you'll notice in this one, it's rather vuggy. And those vugs are those holes. And those holes may have had element in it, you know, like gold, that kind of leached out over time. But look at the coloration. And as you look at the next couple pieces of gang rock from mine tailings, notice that nice burnt yellowish kind of look to it. This I've seen in almost every really well producing gold mine. Now some of them don't have it, but a lot of them do. This is the typical kind of stuff that you're going to see in a gold mine tailings pile. Here's a little bit with a little bit of quartz in it. Watch when I flip this over. Look at that gang rock. Again, this is very, very typical of the kind of quartz you're going to see in a gold bearing tailings pile. Very, very typical. So let's take a look and look at this piece. This is a piece of placer. This is a piece of placer with beautiful quartz in it. Again, wasn't anywhere near mine when I found it. Isn't anywhere near a quartz blowout, just a dry wash in Arizona. Now here's our first piece we looked at again. Just another beautiful piece. Looking at this, you might be able to guess where it's from. Maybe it's not from Arizona. We'll talk about that. Now here's another piece. Check it out. There's just a little bit of gold right up there with the quartz mixed in with that darker country rock. Another piece just mixed in with quartz, a little bit of hematite and some of that darker country rock. Now here we go. Now here's a piece that has just flat, the gold is just flat on one side and attached to the quartz, and a little bit of really light colored host rock in it. Now here's a beautiful piece. Look at that beautiful gold. There's a little bit of country rock in there, a little bit of hematite. Now here's a piece I found detecting in a wash that had about 5 million nails in it. I was so surprised to find this piece. But again, a lot of light country rock in here. The country rock was very lightly colored. That's a 3/4 ounce piece. This is the piece my wife found with her gold monster. Look at the little gold vein right in there. Beautiful piece. There's way more gold in this piece than what you can see. Now here's a piece of schist. I found this detecting, and you can see the quartz and the gold vein just wrap around that schist, that country rock. It just wraps around it. And the really oddball thing was, this is the only piece of gold I found in the entire area. It was just really one of those weird oddities. So again, we're going to play a secondary video here. There we go. And you'll see some more examples of gold and quartz. But what I really want to call your attention to is, keep this in mind. It doesn't matter if the host rock or the country rock is light colored. It doesn't matter if it's dark colored. It doesn't matter how much quartz is there. Everything has to be weighed on its own independent merit. And the best tailings that I have ever found are not the ones that are on the map. They're not the ones listed on the map. And it doesn't matter what state it's in. I prospected in Arizona, Colorado, California, Alaska, all over. And when I find the good stuff, I normally have to go hiking at least an hour, and it's usually a very small dig that's covered up by a tree probably grown into it, or a bush or a cactus or something, just forgotten about at the time. And the old timers, the old time prospectors, you have to remember, they didn't have the technology that we have today. They would simply look at a rock, and if it didn't have gold in it, they'd throw it. And people go, well, the old timers didn't miss anything. They were humans, just like we are. They worked in all kinds of conditions, all kinds of weather. They got tired. They got hungry. They made mistakes. That's why the gold is still there. They weren't perfect people. They didn't always, they were men of steel, no doubt. They were probably tougher than most of us today, but they made mistakes. They were subject to the same human condition that we are. Tiredness, fatigue. Some people got disappointed. You know, who knows what they were going through. So again, pay attention to the quartz here. Understand the colorations that you're seeing. No matter what area you're in, if you find gold in quartz, start looking for those secondary telltales. Look for those secondary mineral inclusion. Look for those specific things that tell you, if I find quartz and I find this other thing, I'm going to find more gold. Build a foundation of knowledge for yourself. With a gang rock, when you go up to these old digs, these mine tailings, start looking for that kind of popcornish looking burn to them. Look for the different colors that are in there, and just don't limit it to what you see here in the video. Take your time. Most tailings piles with quartz in them are full of trash. You have to know how to approach it. I got a video coming up about that. But again, quartz is just an indicator of quartz. It's not an indicator of gold. It can have secondary minerals in it, or as you've seen in the examples and you've seen other videos and pieces, it can just be quartz and gold. But it doesn't hurt to understand that gold runs with a lot of other minerals in quartz, and the more you learn about those minerals, the better. And when it comes to the gang rock, there's usually a common color. And not only that, that common color can be specific on the dig. And the more unknown the dig, in my experience, the better your chances to find something. If you can find it on a map and it's a big bold mine name, your chances kind of go down. But it's the little digs that can have the best stuff with the quartz. So again, pay attention to the quartz. Don't fixate on these colors too much or these specific minerals. Just understand, again, I'm going to nail this point home to you, that once you find quartz, and once you find quartz and gold, no matter what the secondary mineral is, start looking for it. Don't worry about quartz on its own necessarily. Pay attention to what you're actually looking at. Boil it down, mix it together just like a good recipe, and you will find more. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it's upped your prospecting knowledge and your knowledge about quartz and gold. We got a lot more coming up. We got videos coming up on gold and pyrite. We've got all kinds of cool stuff coming up. Stay tuned. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.